Guys, it's Tuesday, September 29th, and you have a few things posted for Miss Richardson. Miss Richardson today. Make sure you watch the instruction video, and she'll go through exactly what you need to do for the day. But for your simple solutions, that was yesterday's simple solution with Jimmy part 1, and questions, and we're going to read about Jimmy part 2 today. One thing we can do before we read is read the questions. So make sure you get the Google form open, and we will read the questions real quick, just so we have an idea of what to expect when we're reading. Number 1, which statement best summarizes the main idea of the passage? That's yesterday, sorry. Number 1, use context clues to determine the meaning of the underlined word. So we'll look at it in a minute. Summarize the text by putting these events in order. So this is going to be chronological order, so just pay attention to the way the events happen in the story. Number 3, how did the engineering team know Jimmy wanted to use his leg? Number 4, how did Miss Montgomery's students benefit from Suda's project? Number 5, part of the engineering process is making improvements to a product. In the text, underline some improvements the team would like to work on. And then number 6, reread the last line of the passage and what does the author mean. So just kind of keep those questions in mind while we're reading. And if you notice something, you can just mark it on your page. But I'll go through and I will read the passage for us. A Dog Named Jimmy, Part 2. Back in Columbus, the team got help from the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center. The staff gave advice as well as a complete CT scan. Notice the footnote. If you don't know what a CT scan is, we can go down here, and it tells us a CT scan is an X-ray image with a CAT scanner. Okay. And I'll pick up right here. So remember, those footnotes always, you see those, just scroll to the bottom of the page, and it's to help you understand what that word means. Okay. The students used the image to make a 3D model of Jimmy's skeletal and muscular systems. The engineering team compared Jimmy's gait with the gait of Harami Suda's 4-legged dog. She sewed a special suit for both canines. They studied the way the dog's joints move by using motion capture software and a special mat for the dogs to walk on. This is how they planned to make a leg that would work for Jimmy. Working through the design process, the team produced 6 ideas before settling on one that became the prototype. The design they chose had a spring system to propel the front leg forward. This paw was a curved piece of metal covered with a piece of bike tire. The final test was for Jimmy to try the leg. We could tell Jimmy really wanted to use it, explained Eric Dennis. He was shifting his weight onto the prosthetic, relieving his other front leg. The team members brought a prototype of the device to Susan Montgomery's class of 4th and 5th graders. They taught the students about engineering and collaboration. The students, who knew Jimmy well, were excited to learn he might walk with 4 legs again. Suda and her team are proud of their project, but the engineering process does not stop with the first finished product. There are things the team wants to improve. For example, the leg needs to be straight down and angled away from Jimmy's other leg. The engineers would like to change some of the materials they use too. For instance, constructing the leg with titanium instead of aluminum would make it much lighter. And the paw section could be improved by adding something to give more traction. And finally, Jimmy will need some practice to get full use of his new prosthesis. The one thing that we knew when we started this project was that Jimmy wasn't going to immediately adapt to life with 4 legs. He's lived several years with just 3, so he walks in a completely different way, remarked Eric Dennis. Jimmy will have to unlearn how to walk before he can learn to walk on the prosthetic. Man's best friend may be a dog, but in this case, a dog's best friend just might be a group of engineering students. So there is our past part 2 about Jimmy. If you didn't notice, when we started, right here is a picture of Jimmy, and there's his prosthetic leg right there. So let's get started on the questions. Number 1, use context clues to determine the meaning of the underlined word. So let's read this sentence. Working through the design process, the team produced 6 ideas before settling on one that became the prototype. So context clues, a lot of times we read the sentence before and the sentence after. So let's go back up here to the passage. So right here it says, The sentence after, there's our sentence. Working through the design process, the team produced 6 ideas before settling on one that became the prototype. The design they chose had a spring system to propel the front leg forward. And the sentence before it said, this is how they plan to make a leg that would work for Jimmy. So does prototype mean professional, typical, model, or expert? Think about what are they creating? What or making something. So which one of these can be made? I will eliminate answer choice professional for you, and I will mark it out up here. So no professional. Number 2 says summarize the text by putting these events in order from 1 to 5. I think she changed this question on the Google form. Let's look real quick. Okay, so number two says check the first, second, and third events in the passage. So we're trying to put these 5 things in order, but we only got to do the first, second, and third. Sorry about that. I just got a phone call. So let me start over on this question right here. So check the first, second, and third events in the passage. So we got to put these things in order, just first, second, and third. So you can always go back in the passage, which is a good strategy, and just kind of start at the beginning and work your way through it. But I'll go through the choices with you real quick. So Jimmy tested his new prosthetic. The team produced many ideas before settling on one. Suda used motion capture software to study Jimmy's gait. The team will continue to improve on their work. Or Ohio State veterinary medical staff gave Jimmy a complete CT scan. If I were you, I would start right here in the first paragraph, and I would just kind of go through. And if you notice, right here in the first paragraph, it talks about the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center. If you notice in your answer choice, you only got one of these. So this one probably has to be number 1, okay? So you don't even have to put these in the exact order. You just got to make 3 checks. So 3 of these things happen before the other 2, okay? So I will tell you this, that one is going to be one of your answers, okay? Number 3, how did the engineering team know Jimmy wanted to use his new leg? Okay. A, he wagged his tail when he saw the students. B, he shifted his weight onto the new prosthetic. C, he would run around with a new leg. Or D, he enjoyed being around children. If you remember, it talked directly about this, right? In this paragraph, right in here. Oh, sorry. We could tell Jimmy really wanted to use it. That's what the opening line says right there. So you need to reread that paragraph, and that'll give you the answer to number 4. Okay, and I will tell you on number 4, it will not be D. So you can mark out answer choice D on both Google form and the passage. Number 5, part of the engineering process is making improvements to a product. And the text underlines some improvements the team would like to work on. Okay, so we're looking for, did they want to change some of the materials being used? They wanted to make it longer, or they wanted to change colors. They talk about this in this paragraph. Let me erase this up here, get this out of our way. And then they talk about it directly the next paragraph. Suda and her team are proud of the project, but the engineering process does not stop with the finished product. So reread that paragraph right there that is circled, and it'll give you the answer to this question right here. Okay, sorry again, we had another phone call. We're a busy room this morning. Okay, so we got one more question to do, number 6. Reread the last line of the passage. What does the author mean? The last line says, man's best friend may be a dog, but in this case, a dog's best friend just might be a group of engineering students. So what does that mean? Does it mean the dog helped the engineering students, the engineering students helped the dog, or they made a new invention? So what's it mean by saying that a group of students may be a dog's best friend. Remember, when you're doing this, you can pause me at any time. So I know I kind of run through that pretty quick, but you can pause me and work at your own pace. If you have any questions, please let me know. Hope you guys have a great day.